This one's called Disruptive Thought Leadership Moving Forward: How to Decode Orwellian Newspeak in 2024. Are you ready for this? Yes, she's excited. Of course she is. This stuff is just exactly the kind of stuff we should be thinking about and reading about. In George Orwell's dystopian 1984, the denuding of language is achieved through the state terror of the party. But in 2024, has corporate jargon and self-help speak left us just as verbally impoverished? Verbally impoverished. The bars today are just at a high level. I love the bars. There's so many. Look at the artwork. Love it. Can I just go back? Verbally impoverished. Verbally impoverished. Yummy. There's a lack of forward visibility. Forward visibility. In George Orwell's 1984, the idea behind Newspeak, a drastically narrowed official vocabulary, is to control the range of thoughts people have, limit the language, and you limit critical thinking. Limit the language and you limit critical thinking, abstract concepts, the ability to debate and dissent. And so each year, the number of permitted words shrink. Now, this article, by the way, because is by Rhymer Rigby. Again, everything is linked. Modern English is not like this. Our sentences are often compressed by the limitations of social media, but our vocabulary remains plentiful. However, Newspeak is also marked by euphemism, circumlocution, version of customary meanings, and this is very familiar in today's world of sound bites, jargon, and corporate gibberish. Bleh. Bleh. Corporate gibberish. We don't like it. We are inundated by words and phrases whose function is not to clearly communicate meaning, but often the very opposite. For instance, where once we had opinions, we now demonstrate thought leadership. Where once people were selfish, now they are narcissists. And instead of looking to the future, we move forward. We are inundated by words and phrases whose function is not to clearly communicate meaning, but often the very opposite. For instance, where once we had opinions, but now we have thought leadership. Where once people were selfish, now they're all narcissists. And instead of looking to the future, we move forward. The good news, perhaps, is that most of these words quickly get used to the point that they become meaningless. They have become meaningless. The bad news, of course, is that new words appear all the time, like a dictionary of jargon and psychobabble, slapping a human face forever. So, what are some of the most annoying words and phrases out there? Wait. Psychobabble slapping a human face forever. That's social media. Okay, so annoying words and phrases. Are you ready? Oh, thank you for this. It's really authentic. Wait, if I go this way, will it let me? No, it's fine. It doesn't. Okay. It's really authentic. Be authentic. This call for being fake, keeping it real, sounds innocuous enough, right? But it really means this. For instance, when applied to neighborhoods, restaurants, and craft ales, authentic has come to mean carefully curated to appeal to hipsters. Just look at your average cafe with its vintage light fittings, exposed concrete, and distressed brickwork. The kind of authenticity you find in London is remarkably similar to that which you'll find in Austin, Oslo, or Bangkok. Meanwhile, we're often encouraged to bring our authentic selves to work. Remember when you always say this, bring your whole self to work, like it's even possible. But this throws up several questions. Does anyone really want to do this? Does your boss really want your real self anywhere near the office? And is your authentic self who you really are anyway? Yeah, sorry, Prowlism. I'm just going to go to Mars's comment. Um, doesn't most English language just transform? People just say different things to say the same thing to get around being judged instead of saying the real word, the R word. People will call you acoustic. Okay, I, th- I think I know what you mean. I don't think words are actually disappearing. Okay, I hear what you're saying. Yes, I think the point is they're losing their meaning. That's what they mean. Like many of today's coinages, this one comes from the corporate workplace. Blech, corporate workplace. Okay, let's circle back to that, shall we? It's easy to see why corporate speak has become so endemic. People want to sound professional, and there is the belief that this is how professional people communicate. Moreover, by cloaking what you do in baffling buzzwords, you create a mystique, often around very mundane tasks. You may also obfuscate the meaning of pleasant actions. For example, downsizing never sounds quite as bad as sacking. Oh, don't you just hate that? Moving forwards particularly great. Perhaps it's popular because it conveys a sense of movement and dynamism. But it's an oddly imprecise phrase. Why not say in the future or in 6 months' time? Even looking ahead is better. Often it's used when no modifier is required. We need to grow the business moving forward. Here it means nothing at all. It means nothing. What do you mean? It means nothing. Story, as in, it isn't part of my story. This really just means life. But where it differs from life is that it allows you to cast yourself as the main character in a narrative that is full of meaning and resonance. It's kind of like that, my truth. Wait, is that listed? People talk about parenting and all manner of other things becoming part of their story. Far harder, but more honest, to admit that a huge amount of what happens to you is down to chance. Oh, this one's so pukey. You need to think outside the box. Wait, thinking outside the box. Another example from the workplace. There is nothing wrong with this as an idea. It just means novel or smarter thinking. But the problem is, if everyone thinks outside the box or thinks they are thinking outside the box, then nobody thinks outside the box. To slightly adapt an old joke, you're thinking differently, just like everyone else. It's just brilliant. Narcissist, the popular one. Another popular source of contemporary coinages is therapy and self help culture. Therapeutic sounding words are often employed in everyday usage because they convey the feeling that the speaker has authority. Words are used to elevate you above the person you are speaking to or about. In both workplace and self help speak, repurposed words are used to signal membership of groups with you inside the group. Naturally, narcissist is a good example of this type of appeal to authority. Call someone self centered or selfish, and you're just bad mouthing them. Call someone a narcissist, and you're using the expert language of professionals. Your opinion matters more, and they are a bad person. See also main character syndrome. We're going to be disruptive and agile. This is so pukey. Wait, I think I've used these. I've used these. I'm, I'm guilty. Disruptive, guys. Another once fine but now meaningless word. It was originally used to describe entrance to markets, whether companies or products that shook up the status quo. Now it's usually appending to anything new. Check out Bob's disruptive new leadership paradigm. Oh, the chuckle this is giving me. Thought leadership, the term thought leader was originally used to denote an expert or someone whose ideas held considerable sway. But now, thought leadership is just a way of badging everything you ever say, like thinking outside the box. It has come to mean everything and so means nothing in real life, IRL. Internet slang is another rich source of today's jargon. In real life has permeated IRL conversations as in let's meet IRL. But seriously, wouldn't you rather just meet face to face? Internet slang is often used to show belonging or to cloak meaning, particularly from parents or to avoid being flagged by content moderating algorithms. That's why it's known as algo speak. And sometimes it's just for the lols. Toxic. Toxic. Oh my gosh, there's so many. Wait, Punch a Puppy. Wait. We'll come to Punch a Puppy in a second. What's toxic? Well, no, of course we know what toxic is. To the chat, to the chat. Mars says, I have to say, corporate professional speak is incredibly annoying and the way people enforce it. If someone uses slightly slang words or crudish words, there will always be someone saying it's improper. Yup. There's like this uniformity. You have to sort of like fit in, otherwise people tune out. I've done it. Gosh darn it. I've done it. Toxic. People tend to attach this word to anything they find vaguely upsetting. But remember, when relationships just didn't work and people were just difficult, all too often the word is now used as a way of stigmatizing things you don't like. But don't worry, the other person probably describes you as toxic too. Don't worry. The other person describes you as toxic too. Oh, it's so humbling. I love it. Can we just like give a big applause to the author of this? We need to find the person. It's Rhymer Rigby. Okay. Let's just put that in the chat and let's look them up because I think they are my new genius person. Aristotle says they are all common licentious plebs. It felt good to get that off my chest. Back to toxic. Gaslighting. A good example of a word that has been overused to the point of losing its original and important meaning. Originally, it meant to manipulate another person into doubting their own perceptions, experiences, or understanding of events. Now, it can all too often be used as a go to retort when people tell you minor lies, or worse, if they just disagree with you. For instance, a person might claim to be lighted. Can't you say gaslit? By the inclusion of the word in this list. Wait, I think I said this in an argument with one of my sisters. She was like, "What? I don't even know what that means." Like I said, guilty as charged. This is brilliantly humbling. Brilliantly. Punch a puppy. I have no idea. Who knows what punch a puppy is? This delightful business phrase. Oh, is this something like kicking the can down the road or something? Okay, this delightful business phrase means to do something bad that's good for the business. Where it falls down is that while punching puppies is bad, in real life, IRL, there's very little upside, business or otherwise. But if you just want a phrase that reeks of mindless, bro-ish workplace machismo, knock yourself or the puppy puppy out. So next time you find yourself reaching for the kind of meaningless jargon that often serves as today's insidious newspeak, consider exactly why you're using that particular word or phrase. And bear in mind the stark and frank exchange in 1984 between Winston Smith, played by Andrew Garfield in Audible's new adaptation, and his colleague Sim, played by Francesca Mills. It's a beautiful thing, the destruction of words. In the end, we shall make thought crime impossible because there'll be no words in which to express it. This has been such a chuckle. Thank you so much for joining me in the chuckle. Um, and breathe and breathe. I really enjoyed that.